Hi guys, Miranda again, talking about toddler behaviour management strategies today. So one of the big ones that we have is time out. So toddlers using time out, and older kids too, is really useful, but you have to do it properly. You can't just say get over there for 5 seconds, because it doesn't work like that. So one of the ways I start introducing my children to the concept of time out is when they are about, or when they need to obviously, but from about probably 18 months onwards. So, but the idea is I didn't like putting my kids in a room by themselves. So I didn't like going, all right, when they're that small, go to your room, don't come back. You're stuck there for 5 minutes. I just think that's, I really actually think that's emotionally disturbing for starters when they're that small. When they're older, it's different. So when they're about 18 months and onwards, so what I do for time out is I don't do time in, like I don't hold them onto me, but they have to be able to see me and be in the same room. So what I do is I put them in a porta cot. Here we go. So basically you can see ours has got mesh sides, so little tiny person can see me. They can also see me ignoring them completely. So, and the rule of thumb is generally their age plus 1 minute. So our little girl now is 2, so she's in the porta cot for roughly 3 minutes if she needs a timeout. And you have to be very clear and tell them why. That does not mean go on for 5 minutes about all the things that they've done wrong, which is something that I sometimes struggle with. But just to say, you're in here because you have hit your sister. We don't hit. You're in here for 3 minutes. And then when they come out, when you want them to come out, I make sure that they're sorry for starters, or just check that they're actually in a mood to come out. If they're about to come out and hit their sister again, it's probably not quite the right timing. You get them back out, get them back out, and I always make my kids say what's gone wrong. So they say, sorry for being rude, mama, or sorry for hitting my sister, or sorry for hitting Evie, is my other daughter's name, and she has to go and give her a hug. So you resolve the issue, resolve the conflict, and the child understands that they've been in there, that they've been separated from play for 3 minutes or however many minutes it is, and they can't get out, they can't hurt themselves, they might make a heck of a lot of noise while they're in there, but as the parent, it's our job to ignore them. And if they go meow, meow, meow at us, just reiterate and say you're in there because you hit your sister. We'll talk about it later. Or we can say other things later. So yeah, that's my tip for time out. I really don't like sending them to another room. When they're like 5 or something, you can go, do you know what? Or even 4, you can say, do you know what? Goodbye. I don't want to talk to you at the moment because you're just being silly. Or if you've hit your sister, we don't want to play with you. That's a classic line. People don't want to play with you when you're hitting. Or people don't want to play with you when you are being silly. We'd love to play with you when you're playing properly. So yeah, it's not about disliking the child. It shouldn't be about disliking the child. It's about not liking their actions, right? So you're in here because your actions have shown that you don't want to play at the moment. When you're ready to play again, you can come and join us again. So yeah, basically that's it in a nutshell, my quick sort of toddler timeout strategy. This porta cot, by the way, is in a room where it's in the middle of everything. So it's in a corner against the piano here, you can see. But just over here is my extremely messy kitchen, dining, everything's in this area, but she's in there not able to interact really with other people except by shouting, and they're all just being informed to ignore her. So yeah, just for that small amount of time. And sometimes I have to set the clock because I can never remember how long 3 minutes is, and I always want to let her out earlier. So yeah, especially with strong-willed kids, it works really well. There you go, time out.